Wackersdorf in Germany plays host to round 2 of the Rotax Max Euro Challenge, and this is the DD2 class final. Starting on pole, kart 602, Matthias de Tige for Bouvon Power. The Belgian won the pre-final and is now just 1 point behind championship leader Mika Leho. Starting second is Austria's Sandro Lukovic. He's been promoted to the front row after Jules Simkowiak, who finished second in the pre-final, was penalised for unfair driving. And the 604 kart of Britain's Patrick Pearce has also moved up a place. The Tatum racing driver starts third. Fourth on the grid is another British driver, Lucas Orrock. He's in kart 623 and being run by former British karting champion Paul Carr. Starting fifth is Thomas Smith in kart 618. The Danish driver is run by Star Karting and is fifth in the championship after the opening weekend in Belgium. And starting sixth is Zenderu in kart 608, the Belgian representing the Formula K Europe team. As for Jules Simkowiak, that 10-second penalty dropped him from 2nd to 18th. And so watch for kart 603 coming through from the 9th row of the grid. So the karts make their way onto the warm-up lap, ready for a rolling start, but it doesn't look as though kart 648 will be joining them. That's Belgium's Carl Clairbeau, one of the drivers in the Masters class for drivers aged 32 and over. Meanwhile, Matthias de Tige in the green and white Tony kart leads the field around, ready for the start of this 18-lap final. The engine revs build, the karts accelerate, and the action is underway. It's a good start for the pole sitter. De Tige holds the lead, but there's a change for second as Pearce goes down the inside of Lukovic into the first of 4 hairpins on this 1.275 kilometre long track. And I reckon Lukovic lost another place there, possibly to Thomas Smith. Karts running 2 and 3 abreast into the next hairpin, and getting involved in that particular battle is the championship leader Mika Leho with the green suit in kart 649, and he's just had to give second best to Lucas Orrock. Leho, the championship leader, trying to fight his way up from 7th on the grid. It's been a great start to this final though for his championship rival Matthias de Tige. He leads from Patrick Pearce. Thomas Smith is 3rd, Lucas Orrock 4th, with Mika Leho 5th, Sandro Lukovic down to 6th, having started 2nd. And there's kart 607, Kevin Ludi, the Swiss driver, up from 10th to 7th. In kart 608, that's Zenderu breathing down his neck as they head towards the completion of lap 1 here in southeast Germany. Orrock in the white kart is still 3rd, but here's a challenge for 4th. Mika Leho down the inside, and that's another place gained. So the Finn has already climbed 3 places in this race. And now Sandro Lukovic passes Thomas Smith to climb back up to 5th. And just behind, Zenderu in the green and white kart overtook Kevin Ludi into the same bend. So the Belgian is now up to 7th, still 1 place back from his start position. So you've got some quick drivers like Mika Leho and Zenderu, who either had a bad grid or had a poor start, quickly trying to make their mark on this race. And right on cue, Zenderu throws 1 down the inside of Thomas Smith to gain 6th place. His next target, the red and yellow outfits of Austria's Sandro Lukovic. Watch the karts rise and fall down the undulating back straight, and then carrying most of that speed into this final sweeping right-hand bend. Zenderu is quicker through here though, closes the gap. Further back somebody takes to the grass. It's Chris Groen on the Team Cross Tony kart. The Dutchman, one of the over 32s competing in the Masters class. He recovers. Meanwhile, what about this battle for 5th place? Here they come, and there's no change. Lukovic stays ahead of Deru. Or does he? No. Deru with a last gas move at the hairpin gets the position. I think it's fair to say that Deru is on a charge. The Belgian has now gone from 7th to 4th in just 1 lap. He was going well in the final at Genk until he had a collision with Jules Simkowiak. It looks like he's got plenty of pace here too. The lead train of karts weaves its way through this left-right series of S-bends. Matthias de Tige still running at the head of the pack. And here's our first glimpse of Jules Simkowiak. Charges past Sasha Pio-Haida. Lorenzo Scatini is having a go as well. There's contact, and Sasha Pio-Haida, the German driver, is pushed unceremoniously down the order, so he falls back into the pack. Simkowiak, meanwhile, is up to 14th place from 18th on the grid. Here's Mika Leho and Zenderu, 4th and 5th, and now they swap places. Zenderu absolutely motoring along in his Formula K kart. He qualified 6th, dropped to 8th at the start, but he's risen again to 4th place. Mika Leho, on the other hand, is beginning to go backwards after a promising start to the race. And here's yet more overtaking. This time, it's number 655, Sandro Lukovic, making his way past Thomas Smith. Back up front, it's still Matthias de Tige from Patrick Pearce. Tell you what, though, they are being caught by Lucas Orrock, and Lucas, in turn, has been caught by the flying Zenderu, who now makes a move and goes through. This is great stuff from Deru. As soon as he gets up to the back of somebody, he goes for a move straight away. Decisive stuff. He's the quickest driver on track, and now he can see the top two just ahead of him. There's still plenty of time to go in this race, and the way he's going, it won't be long at all before Deroux is battling with Matthias de Tige and Patrick Pearce for the lead of the race. In fact, he's almost with Pearce already. Here we go then, Deroux looking for a possible move into the hairpin, and he's done it again. That's second place now as this charge continues. But the higher up the order you get, the harder it becomes. And there you go, Patrick Pearce becomes the first driver to reverse the trend as he regains the place, but not for long. Deroux fights back, and now he's second again. Just behind is Lucas Orrock in fourth, then Miguelejo in fifth. And that little battle has allowed the race leader to edge clear, but Matthias de Tige has by no means got this one yet. Patrick Pearce taking a tight line into that hairpin. He's a bit slow to get out of the corner, which puts fellow Brits Lucas Orrock right on his tail, but no gaps appear at the next hairpin. There are plenty of places to overtake at this track, and Orrock's found one of them down the inside into the last corner of the lap. He squeezes past Pearce. We're at half distance, and this is the order. First, Matthias de Tige. Second, Deroux. Third, Lucas Orrock. Fourth, Patrick Pearce. And fifth, Miguelejo. If it stays like this, Matthias de Tige is going to move into the championship lead. In fact, as long as he finishes ahead of Miguelejo in this final, the Belgian will move ahead of the Finn in the points. There's de Tige ahead of Deroux, but the gap is visibly coming down. Deroux looks much better on the brakes than anyone else into the hairpins. Just hope he isn't putting too much stress on his tyres, otherwise he might be struggling for grip during the closing stages. Either way, his kart seems to be working beautifully at the moment. He's driving the Formula K chassis, while the race leader is on a Tony kart. Lucas Orrock in third place is on board one of the Cosmic chassis. For the first half of that lap, Deroux was all over the back of the race leader, but de Tige responded with a good run through the final turn. It's only a temporary respite though as Deroux closes once again. In the background, Orrock looks like he's consolidated third place, but he's still falling away from the top two. I think it's worth pointing out that Deroux is only just inside the top 10 in the championship. He lost a lot of points at the opening round in Belgium, and in a sense he's perhaps got less to lose here than the man ahead of him, which is maybe why he's going for it. Decisive stuff from Deroux. He came from a long way back, and now he finds himself in the lead of the race for the first time. He may have qualified sixth, but when you take that poor first lap into account, Deroux has basically come from 8th place to take the lead of this race. It's been a great drive up to this point. However, he now finds himself having to cope with a different mindset. No longer is he chasing, hunting down people. Now he's got nobody to follow. He's got to try and eke out those quick lap times all by himself, and he's got to cope with the pressure of now not throwing this lead away. Well, we had 5 different leaders in the DD2 pre-final. We've only had 2 in this final. Matthias de Tige dominating the early stages, and now Deroux has hit the front and is beginning to pull away. Lucas Orrock is on his own in third, but there's a real fight developing behind, and we've now got them 3 abreast. Sandro Lukovic on the outside, Antoine Lepesque in the middle, and Thomas Smith nearest to us. They run 6th, 7th and 8th respectively. Lukovic came out on top in that one. Lepesque and Smith are still side by side, and for now it's Smith who keeps the Frenchman at bay. He can hardly relax though. Lepesque is still breathing down his neck. They're coming up to one of the hairpins. Smith defends the inside line, clips the curb on the way through the corner, but it doesn't seem to slow his exit from the turn. Defensive again on the way into the next hairpin, but again the exit speed is okay, and Lepesque, one of the Sodicart junior team drivers, has to sit behind the Dane. Lepesque showed turns of speed in the opening round of the championship at Genk, but he got bumped back down the field in the final there. Lukovic is still ahead of them in 6th place and perhaps just beginning to pull away. And that's Lepesque on the attack, goes for it, and in the end he just breezes through to take the place. I think Smith may have been guilty of leaving the door open on that occasion. Lepesque did come from a very long way back and was obviously good on the brakes. Either way, the Frenchman is through to 7th place. Up front it's still Deroux, de Tige and Orrock, and then look at this, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th and 8th are all together now. Patrick Pearce leading the group and on course to better his 8th place finish from Genk, and a move there from Sandro Lukovic to snatch 5th place from Miguelejo. It seemed a long time ago now that Lukovic started this race from the front row, and he's never really been in contention for the race win. De Tige and Pearce were the 2 who made the best start, and they built a healthy lead during the first few laps until Deroux began his spectacular charge through the order. So it's the Austrian, Lukovic, leading this 4-way battle for 5th place, with Pearce having been unable to pull away again. And now Lejo comes under attack, this time from Antoine Lepesque, and the championship leader now finds himself down in 7th place. The pre-final was frustrating, and this isn't turning into a great race for him either. He led the pre-final a couple of times, got pushed down the order on both occasions. He actually made a decent start to this race, but he's not quite had the pace to be able to maintain a challenge for the podium. And as this race heads towards its climax, he's going backwards. Thomas Smith, the next driver, to start applying pressure. These drivers may not be going for trophy positions today, but every place they can gain, every championship point they can get is going to come in handy at the end of the season, because it looks like the Rotax Euro Challenge is going to be a very tight championship this year. Now a move from Smith up the inside. Leho sees him coming, moves out of the way, and then tries to cut back alongside him on the way out of the corner. This he does, and Leho reclaims the place. And now Harry Drysdale is trying to get in the action as well. Through he comes instead of gaining a place. Smith ends up losing one. Meantime, the leaders are through onto the last lap of the race. Still the top three positions look settled. Not so fourth place, because Patrick Pearce has been caught by Sandro Lukovic, and the Austrian is going to have a go at the hairpin. Contact, he's on the grass. Pearce has been delayed and has lost at least one place as Lukovic finally rejoins, but he's going to be out of the top 10. Here's a replay, and Lukovic went for the inside, but he did it so late that Pearce was already turning the corner. They rubbed wheels, it flicked Lukovic into the air, and there you can see a very grateful Antoine Lepesque nipping by to claim fourth spot. Leho also through, so Pearce will be down to sixth. Well, there's Sandro Lukovic struggling along. He's down in 12th place, and I wouldn't be surprised if he sustained some damage in all of that. There's the flag, though, and there's the winner. A sensational drive from Zenderu. Meanwhile, Matthias de Tige takes second place, and with it, the championship lead. Third place goes to Lucas Orrock. Lepesque is fourth, and Leho rounds out the top five.
He's the one that took the checkered flag. He stands on the top step of the podium. It's Zenderuva. Oh, Bono's, Bono's applauding him. I love that. Bono is his biggest fan. Well done. Lovely Dalmatian doggy. P2, but return to the Brit, Lucas Orrock, for the third place trophy presentation by Nigel Edwards. And now for the Belgians, Matthias de Tige, with a smile on his face. Well done, Matthias. Well done, Zen. Once again, photo time. Bono's wagging his tail. Hey, how does he know he's wagging his tail? Matthias, didn't he? Got it first. Matthias gets there first, does he? Oh, it's Zen who gets there first. Oh, gosh, and gives Lucas a bit of a champagne shower. Oh. For the second round in succession, she never won a race until round one. Now she's won two on the bounce. From the UK, it's Tamsin Germain. So the International Clerk of the Course, Mr. Nigel Edwards, hands the trophy for third place to Bart Noy. When I say International Clerk of the Course, Nigel's on his way to Suzuka, Japan. Suzuka, Japan for Nigel Edwards next time out. And Tamsin receiving the trophy. Oh, he's not going to give her the trophy until he gets something from the lady. Fair enough. Okay, photo time. No, that's calling the plays. That's not quite right. Pole position on this one, I think. It's ought to be from Bart. Here we go. Oh. Dennis Crows, that's no way to treat a lady.